Hi and welcome to this live currency strength indicator tables video. My name is John. I'll be taking you through the charts this Thursday, the 3rd of November. We have two tables in front of us. You can see that we have the trend traders table and the day traders table. These are showing the same studies but just on different time frames. You can see here some of the currencies are highlighted in green. That shows that there is a confluence between the two trading time frames, and these are the currencies that we'll be focusing on in the video. The tables auto update every 15 minutes 24/7, so wherever you are on the planet you can access the latest strength and weakness analysis. So, what are the live currency strength indicator tables showing us today? Well, it's showing us that the New Zealand dollar is top of the trend traders at S1. It's then followed by the US dollar at S2, which is then followed by the pound, which is S3. We then have on the weak side, Swiss franc is the weakest on the trend traders, followed by the Australian dollar at W2, followed by the euro at W3. If we head over to the day traders table, then the US dollar is the strongest currency, followed by the yen, which is the second strongest currency, and the New Zealand dollar, which is the third strongest currency. On the weak side of this, we have the pound, which you can actually see is not highlighted in green. So basically what we can see here is because it's on the opposite side of the table, there is no confluence on the pound for an opportunity. Aussie is W2, same as on the trend traders, and then it's followed by euro as W3, which is also the same as the trend traders. So we have lots of currency pairs to look at, really, considering the amount of pairs here. We've got the Aussie Kiwi we could look at, Euro Kiwi, Aussie US dollar, Euro US dollar. We're going to follow the dollar pairs today because there was lots of news out last night regarding the FOMC and the Federal Reserve hiked interest rates once again. And then they talked about the slowing down of the pace of tightening, but then also stated that they're going to hike rates higher or above the estimated, which then sparked US dollar buying again. So news-wise, fundamentally, the US dollar is gaining strength again, which is then putting pressure on our major currency pairs like the Euro US dollar, like the Aussie US dollar. Now, the only thing with Euro US dollar is if I actually go back to our rolling currency strength indicator tables, and we actually go all the way to the bottom of the page, we can see here that Euro US dollar actually featured on the same side of things for some time. So we've actually not been able to look at ideas short for Euro dollar for a good while, and you can actually see that on the chart behind you. If I actually just highlight this little area in here, if I go all the way back down, you can see the 3rd of October. If I just jump over to Euro US dollar and highlight to you the 3rd of October, okay, so which is around about here. This is where the tables tell us to stop looking for Euro US dollar short. Now, this is actually a really good thing about the tables. Not only does it tell you when you should be looking at the market, it also tells you when you should not be looking at a market. Okay, so you're not always focusing on one particular direction or one particular bias of that market. It actually gives you the option to say, okay, well, even though price is coming back into an area of interest, maybe the underlying strength and weakness is suggesting that the market isn't going to continue in its desired trend. So for instance, here price has been in a trend for a significant amount of time, and you can see here that we've highlighted the day where it appears on the tables on the same side of things. Now, what you can actually see happens from that is we pretty much move sideways. There's very little opportunity. If you were trying to short, then maybe you would have shorted at the trend line resistance, but if you had tried any attempts short after that, when you saw bearish candlesticks appear, you'd have actually been on the wrong side of the market. And if you had, even if you'd been short from this trend line, maybe with stops above the high of the trend line, then you would have actually been stopped on that move as well. So always important to look at the trend, but also look back at the currency strength indicator tables and have a look at why something is showing up where it is. So for instance, on the pound we have it's on the weak side of the day traders, but the strong side on the trend traders. Well, that's telling me that the opposite of what I want to see on that particular currency. So you wouldn't be looking to trade the pound today. Okay. Also, there is Bank of England news, which you can also add as a bit of confluence there. But what I'm trying to say is that these currency strength indicator tables are there for you to look at in multiple different ways. Okay, so if we go to euro dollar, go back to that because euro dollar is featured. We've just discussed that it has now reappeared on the charts. What is a technical outlook that we can look for then? So if I actually just go up to the weekly time frame, we can see that, you know, we have been in a long-term downward trend. Price has been pushing aggressively to the downside, and you can see that actually parity held here. So parity is a key area on euro US dollar, and price has reacted around this area numerous amounts of times, and we can see that price found support here, a little bit of chop, but then found resistance there again. So we also highlighted that range actually between the 0.99 handle and the 1.0100 handle. That was a little bit of a range that price was fighting, and you know, although price came back within the range, ultimately we closed back below parity, which was a little bit of a negative signal for price. Now that we've got confirmation on the currency strength indicator tables that price is going to potentially continue the trend, you know, that reaction there is a nice reaction to see. So what we want to see is where could price go to? Well, if I just go to the monthly time frame, you can see that we have a level punched in here at the 0.9450. Now, if I zoom out, why is that there? Well, you can see here that it's this previous high which formed all the way back in 2001. So January 2001, we had this high formed, which then got breached by price, which then led to a significant run. But for some reason, price found some resistance around about the 0.9450. So that could be an area where price wants to retest again. Okay, whether price breaks that is a different question. But if price is going to move down, it could move down to the 0.9450 handle, which is around about 326 pips away at current price levels. Now, if I then go to our trading time frames, our 8 hour for instance, or even our 4 hour, what we can see here is I've put on a bearish channel here, which has been formed by using the trend line from these highs here, and you can see that when we've then moved the trend line down, that it actually has been a place where price has been finding some support just through here, for instance. Now, after the news, price broke above this trend line, closed back below. We've been bearish ever since that, and it looks like we're now breaching the low of the bearish channel, which is actually a really strong signal that we could see continued downside pressure. So I'm actually just going to remove this for a second and just also talk about this other trend line that I've put in just through here. Now, this trend line has been developed really from the daily, okay, because we started to see price making higher lows. So we had a higher low in here, higher low, we then had a higher high. So if price was going to continue to the upside, then that could have been an area where price found some support. However, we're breaking down through that trend line support now, and if we've got a close below, that could be a good sign that we were to see price move to the downside. Just going back to that 4 hour time frame though, what you could look at as well is previous areas of support and resistance. So if you look left, we do have that area that we highlighted before, as well as the 0.9800 handle. So if I actually just open this up here, for instance, you'll be able to see prices breaking down through that support as well. So if price was to come back, let's say we round and we make our lower high, okay, we have multiple areas where price could find confluence. We have the trend line resistance, okay, coming down through here. We have the also the resistance from the breakout of this trend line, okay, so adding confluence through that line there. We also then have horizontal resistance, which is this area through here at the 0.9800 handle. And also you've got the previous kind of low rolling through that area. So really speaking, the 0.9800 area is an area where price may find resistance again for continued moves to the downside here on euro dollar. So what other charts can we look at? I'm going to just focus on the dollar pairs because of the recent news that we've seen, and I'm actually going to go on to Aussie US dollar now. So if I just pull in the currency strength indicator tables, we can see that Aussie US dollar features here. That's why we're looking for Aussie US dollar downside. Now, the last time that they appeared on the tables was back on the 3rd of October for some downside. Okay, and you can see we actually consolidated, moved lower. We pulled back into that area, and now we're starting to see the continuation. So from this area here, if we took the high, for instance, that move down was 367 pips. Price then come back. So if you were interested in it again at that point, you know, we're already moving 250 pips away from this trend line resistance, for instance. So there could be some further downside here. Now we do have a support down here at the 0.6050. Again, if I just go to the weekly time frame, you can see that is derived from this area here. And if I just zoom out a little bit, you can see all the way back towards these lows in 2008 is where we've got that support level from. So that's an area we're expecting maybe wanting to be retested by the market. So 0.6050 is a target for this move down. Now again, if we go back to that daily time frame, you can see that we have price following this bearish trend line down through here. We've had multiple reactions from it, including this one and this one here most recently. So if price is respecting this trend line, I'm expecting an impulsive move to come from the market. And if we actually go down to our lower time frame, like the 4 hour, for instance, I've just marked in a little area here, which is the 0.6375 handle. And the reason why I've identified that is because price has recently found some support here and a little bit of resistance. So if price was to pull back into that area, we may have an opportunity where we get the crossover of the horizontal resistance as well as the confluence from the trend line, the longer term trend line, which could give you an option then to look for short sellers to come back into the market for some further downside. Okay, now alternatively, you want to look at some different options. Then price could start to consolidate for a period. So what you may get is a little bit of period of consolidation. If price was to then break the consolidation, that could then add to further opportunities to get short as well. Now if I just zoom out slightly, you can see 0.6050 also has confluence with this minor trend line as well, where you can see price interacting with that area down through here. So that's going to be the targets for price moving to the downside. Look for those lower high opportunities on Aussie US dollar. Right, that's all I've got time for. If I just bring in the live currency strength indicator tables, hopefully in this video you've seen how you can use these currency strength indicator tables, not just to find opportunities in the market, but also to understand when not to be in a particular market, like the example I showed you on Euro US dollar earlier. But if you are seriously considering adding some currency strength analysis into your current analysis, then please head over to charlesclifton.co.uk. We are running a trial period for £1, so you can see if these services are for you. Thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.